So those are your two winners for these two T6 drag races, Tommy.
We'll preview what's coming up next for you. More F1 on the way here from Reno. We have our third F1 Formula One race of the day here. Yeah, week 2A is on the way.
We expect that'll be the gold pairing.
Yep.
And you begin to see those aircraft are being maneuvered out towards the runway right now as we get ready for that. We're still recovering some of the other aircraft from previous races. But what a great look, and the folks at the Reno National Championship Air Races do such a phenomenal job of having all these different disparate aircraft that take all kinds of different preparation for different types of races, and they're all staged and ready to go. I mean, we just crossed the pylon with the T6s, and the Formula Ones are taxiing out. Tommy, I think one of the aircraft we're going to get to hear from or see here in just a minute is Trent Woodward.
Yeah, that'll be race 52. Trent Woodward from Spring Valley, Wisconsin. Had a chance to talk with him earlier. He'll be starting in the 8th position today. How he assesses his chances for this race 2A in Formula One.
Yesterday was a good competition for the first, second, and third, and I was right in the middle of that. In the B heat, so was really matched with Austin, so flew a little bit of a higher line to stay out of his wake, and Jen in Blackjack was just right on me, and that was the order we started and the order we finished, 1, 2, and 3. So with some of the speeds from the A heat, I ended up in A heat today. Also because the aircraft that pulled off with the non-mechanical Mayday. So 2 of us from B ended up in A. So we will get passed and lapped and probably just complete 6 or 7 laps today instead of 8.
What are you hoping for?
I'm just hoping to stay in front of Austin.
Yesterday we ended up finishing the first of the silver. We had a good run. We're pretty proud of what the plane's doing, and bumped us up to gold today. So we'll probably be in the back. We expect that. So we'll see how it goes. Kind of be along for a ride. Hopefully we can maintain decent lap speed and stay in the goal for tomorrow. But there's a chance we might get bumped. We'll see what happens.
A couple of our racers who moved up in class based on their performance yesterday. Trent Woodworth and Austin Shaw moving from the B class, the silver class, into the A class today. And Trent Woodworth, Rob, told us to sort of temper our expectations for him. He doesn't know if he's going to be able to run with the big dogs here.
Well, I think he may be selling himself a little bit short because he's quite a competitive racer, and looking forward to this race. A great matchup of 8 F1 racers here, Tommy. It ought to be really exciting. You see a great look there at race 79 as they begin to get set up. That's Justin Phillipson. We're expecting him to be in the number 2 position once they get all settled out, but we'll wait and see how everybody gets staged here in just a minute as they make their way out to the runway. There you can see, wow, what a beautiful paint scheme on that red, white, and blue aircraft.
Yeah, that's What Airplane Honey, Tim Cohn from Fresno, California.
I gotta love that that name, right? You know, what Airplane Honey with a question mark there's got to be a story behind that with a conversation at home. You know, that occurred somewhere there. But you know, much like any hobby in any sport, it's a love and a passion for these folks, and I'm sure that's true for Timothy Cohn with his race 99. Now, he hails from Fresno, California, but a beautiful Casset 3 here, Tom.
He lists his occupation as raconteur. Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, here you begin to see more of the field making their way out and getting set up by their ground crews, removing the canopy there so the pilot can get all set up and get in, and taking the covers off the propellers. We've talked earlier today, Tommy, on these Formula One races about the fixed pitch propellers. These often, on a lot of these racers, are laminated high-tech carbon fiber type propellers, and so you see those covers on there because any nick, anything that happens to that propeller will significantly reduce its effectiveness. And in this course, or in this class especially, the choice of propeller is all important because it's going to determine how fast you get going at the start. It also determines how well and how fast you go once you're up to speed.
It's race 14 there, Matt Moore from San Jose, California. The Acme Special 2, another Cassett racer.
Beautiful yellow and white aircraft that we get a really good look at. As he begins to get set, you can see the crew helping the pilot get in. We've talked about you strap on these airplanes, and it really is true.
You wear them.
They're very, very small. I've had the opportunity to sit in one of these before. And I'm not the smallest guy in town, but it wasn't just that was the problem.
You're not the biggest guy either, I'll say in your defense.
It's a very tight fit, but that's all by design. These aircraft are very small. You know, fully fueled pilot, everything, they weigh just under 800 pounds, still less than half the weight of a Harley-Davidson. And our fastest racers will be taking these things 50 feet off the desert floor, Tommy, 250 miles an hour. It's absolute adrenaline excitement all day long in this class.
This is the one that attracts the most entrants into this type of racing here. It is the gateway sort of class here.
Yeah, and you know what?
We just heard from him a moment ago. That's his airplane there, the yellow one, Feisty.
There we go. Thank you, guys. That's absolutely, I was just going to mention it. That's the gentleman we heard talk about some of the other aircraft passing him, but I think he's going to do very well here in that beautiful bright yellow aircraft. And there you can see all 8 aircraft staged on runway 8 here at Reno Stead Field. You got 3 in the front row, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the back. That is a standing start or a horse race type start. We'll have the flags in a minute. There will be a red flag as a warning for our pilots. When that goes from red to green, they all take off at the same time, standing start, and they're staggered the way they are on the runway for safety, so that if something were to happen, if somebody needed to abort whatever, the other aircraft can safely pass and make their way by and all get airborne safely. So everything we do here at the National Championship Air Races is all about safety. In addition to the fun and the excitement, it's always focused on safety, and that's what you see demonstrated here in the way that we start races in this class.
So fun to go through the progression of races through the days here and how these teams get it dialed in a little more as each day passes. Of course, the objective always to move up in class, be as high as you can be, and have a shot at a medal. Appear on the medal stand.
And the part of that, Tommy, is also strategy. You know, as you make your way through the heat races, we've seen some aircraft will maybe not put their equipment totally at the final limit, trying to preserve the equipment,
right,
but also trying to position themselves. But it's all about making it through these heat races and making our way to Sunday, because Sunday's where it all matters, and we finally get grouped up into gold, silver, and bronze, and those will be incredibly competitive races. But we're about to have one of the most competitive races we've seen all day here in just a minute here in the Formula One class. This is the 3rd one of the day for this class, so they are ready to go. And we've seen virtually all of the aircraft in the class fly today, and this is going to be the 3rd group here in just a minute.
These are the big ones. These are the gold class right here. This is the A.
Yeah, this is the A class, and we've got a couple folks make their way up from the silver class there in the back row that we heard from just before the race started. So this is going to be quite the exciting the race here in just a minute.
Got another legendary craft in here. The Frayed Knot is our #1 seed here. Josh Watson.
Yeah, that aircraft has so much history, Tommy. The aircraft itself is a multi-time winner. It has a Lowell Slater took it to 3 championships over the years. So it's the same aircraft piloted
different
today,
pilot,
by Josh Watson out of Wilton, California. So it's capable and certainly competitive.
Won the A-class race, the gold class race yesterday, despite a 16-second penalty. So that's pretty dominant right there, if you could pull that off.
Yeah, and in coming into today's race, his speed from yesterday averaged at 233.4. So he was scooting it, picking them up and putting them down, as they say, Tom, as he was going around. So we're expecting to see that again here today, and it's going to be very exciting as we get everything spooled up together here. Now you can see on the screen each of the aircraft, the crew that we saw up close earlier, helping to get the pilots into the aircraft now have moved out either behind the wing or beside the wing. That tells us that we're getting close to engine start, Tommy. So we're about ready to get rolling here pretty quick. So they will get a cue on the radio that they can each begin to start their motors. Once we get all 8 aircraft up and running, we'll be ready to roll. So this is the class, Tommy, that goes all the way back, as you see the engines beginning to fire on all 8 of our aircraft, all the way back to the 30s. You know, probably the most iconic and famous race in all of that was in 1947 at the Cleveland Air Races. These these type of aircraft, amongst others, they were called midget racers back then. It really took off after World War II. The class goes all the way back into the 30s. Through the 40s during World War II, it had a little bit, obviously, like most of everything, was focused on something else. But as soon as World War II ended, racing just took off. And in 1947 is probably the iconic year of air racing in our country. And actually, this class, all the way to today, 68 years, I believe it is, Tommy, same type class, same basic rules. It's a true technical formula that determines it limits the wing area to 166 square feet. They all have the same Continental O200 engine that you'll find in your family Cessna 150, but they turn them a little bit faster here, different propellers. It is a fixed pitch prop like we said earlier. But we've got the red flag up. That tells us that we're just minutes away from start now, Tommy. So we see the engines running. Crews are making the final checks. They're buttoning down the hatches. Pilots are doing their pre-flight checks inside. All the engine systems, flight systems are going through their final checks. Again, looking to have the safest but fastest and most competitive race that we can have here in just a few minutes. So, man, I don't know about you. The adrenaline's starting to pump for me. I'm getting excited. We're about to have some fun.
You see those props turn, you know it's just a matter of minutes before they get going across the front row there. Top 3 seeds, our top 3 qualifiers.
And you know, sitting on the pole here, Tommy, is actually that's race 79 sitting in the pole position on the runway with that yellow and green aircraft, and that's Justin Phillipson. A veteran of this at the top end of this Formula One racing for many years here. Right, and we talked a minute ago about Fred not being scheduled to fly here. But Justin Phillipson in race 79 here on the pole as we get started, no slouch either. His time out of yesterday, 230 miles an hour. So he will pick it up and put it down pretty quick. And in the center there, you see Tim Cone, race 99. And that starting to make up the entirety of our front row as we get ready to get started here in just a minute. And we're going to fly 8 laps on our up close and personal 3.5 mile course, Tommy. And like we've talked about earlier today, when the green flag drops, they will depart, as we described, all together. They will make the first lap around that 3.5 mile course in what we call a starter lap, or sometimes referred to as an oil warm-up lap, but allows the aircraft to get safely airborne, get up to speed when the control surfaces are most effective, and then when they come back by the home pylon after completing that first circuit, that's when the race officially starts. That's when we start counting time. That's when we start counting laps. Now, the aircraft can maneuver for position during that first lap. It's no problem at all for them to do that. So they just have to be safe as they depart and make their way around. But no matter which aircraft passes the home pylon first, that's when the accounting, the timing, etc., all begins there together. Well, you see the crew departing the runway. Our racers are out there by themselves. The engines are running, Tommy. We are very, very close now to getting ready to go. On the left side of your screen, for the viewers at home, you can see that big red flag in the bed of that white pickup truck that's there, and that is what the racers are all looking at. Now that will go down, a green flag will come up, and when that happens, Tommy, I promise you, heart rates are going up, adrenaline's coming up. At the same time, those throttles get mashed all the way to the stop, and off we go here in the gold pairing on day number 2, Formula One.
And if you can make some headway in this first lap, the starter lap, you keep that. I mean, it's not a you have to stay in your lane. It's not like a relay race on a track and field situation.
Correct. Right. Yeah, absolutely. The race is on the minute they put the throttle forward. We just don't start counting those 8 laps until they make it around that first time. So some folks like to say, well, it's really 9 laps, but it's all there for a reason. That gives everybody a fair start. when we get going. So it just part of the design of these midget racers, part of that's history and tradition, but it also is the safest way for us to operate this race, as opposed to some of the other classes that you'll see will get airborne and they'll come from behind, and our unlimiteds and our jets do an air start. In this case, since we're up close and personal here on the close 3.5-mile course, you get to see these aircraft start from the ground, which the fans love. And our camera shot here is from just over the shoulder of all of our fans that are in the grandstand. We have wonderful crowds here at the 59th running of the National Championship Air Races here in Reno. The tickets have gone like wildfire. As you can imagine, folks are just
programs are selling out like crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a keepsake from this historical meet here in the desert.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so excited to have everybody join us online here for the stream and for what we've got going here. The opportunity to take you to this race. And there's the green flag coming up, Tommy. We see it there on the truck and the aircraft. Now they are hearing on the radio. Green flag's up, and here we go. There we go. Brakes off, throttles up. We're underway, Tommy.
Justin Phillipson, race 79 there on with the pole position.
Let's see, beautiful red, white, and blue aircraft in the middle there was
race 99.
Race 99, Tim Cohn. But there's a great look at our pole position as he gets airborne. And you notice the minute he gets airborne, he keeps the nose down, lets the aircraft accelerate. You can see the aircraft in third. There is Josh Watson and Freydnot, who we thought was going to be on the pole,
but they flopped that around. Yeah,
they moved it around a little bit to give him a little bit of position there, much like we saw in earlier heats. And so he's immediately moved into second. So you see a great shot there of second and third, and back to our leader now as he comes around pylon number 3, headed down the backstretch for the first time. Beautiful, beautiful view against that clear blue Nevada sky on just a perfect day for Formula One closed course rating.
Second, third, Josh Watson and Tim Cohn.
You can see Josh Watson and Freydnot beginning to pull away a little bit from Tim Cohn, and in fact here in this shot you can see him beginning to gain on our leader, who is race 79, no strings attached, and it looks like Freydnot is doing what we've seen Freydnot do so many times over the years. He's making his way around this course and beginning to get up in and over the shoulder of our leader there in race 79. Great look at race 79 there, and right behind him you'll see the other aircraft. There it is, right there. And you can see the wing is shaped a little bit different between these two aircraft. Freydnot is a DG2 is the type of aircraft, and the leader in race 79 is a shoestring, aircraft. So two different approaches. Both have the same limit on square footage for the wing. But here you can see Freydnot as he takes it up high out of the home straightaway. Going to trade some of that speed for altitude, but as he enters into pylons 4, 5, and 6, he trades that altitude for speed, trying to build, much like NASCAR, to build that momentum, right? And try to get where you can pass the leader. But we get a great shot here of our leader as he's staying low, right down on the 50-foot limit, staying tight to those pylons, Tommy. But you get to see a good shot there as he comes around. Number 2 is catching him, but not terribly fast. He's doing a good job staying out front.
Justin Phillipson in this class, gold class, many, many years here in Reno, and he's not allowing Josh Watson to take the measure of him just yet, although Josh Watson is thinking toward those lines.
Yeah, and
you see him right behind.
Yeah, he's right behind him there. You see a great shot here from our camera out in the desert, our pylon cam. Here's another good shot. You can see Freydnot.
There's your race right there.
And this is absolutely going to be a competitive race as we are finishing lap number 2, coming to the home pylon. We'll begin lap number 3, and you can see Freydnot is beginning to take advantage of that speed. The camera angle's a little bit made it look a little faster than it probably is, because he's got to take the long way around here on the east end, pylons 1, 2, and 3, passing on the outside. But you can see now he's moved up almost beside him, and I expect down the back stretch here he'll trade some of that altitude for speed, and we'll get to see him get right up next to race 79 just in just a second here.
Just as you said, Rob, he goes down, gets some of that speed. Looks like virtually neck and neck.
Yeah, and like all closed course pylon racing, Tommy, though, you got to pass on the outside. So he's got the longer ground track to fly. It takes longer to get there. And at the moment, our leader, our pole position, race 79, Justin Phillipson, is continuing to hold the lead. But he's definitely being stalked by Frayed Knot and Josh Watson.
Just a fraction of a second behind. A little bit of bump there for Watson, Frayed Knot.
We're halfway through. We're on lap 4 now, 4 of 8, as we make our way around. But these two aircraft incredibly comparable here right at the moment, Tommy.
Yes,
it's while
what a great race.
While Frayed Knot in race 31 is slightly faster, it looks like he's beginning to take that speed and make that pass now. You can see here from our pylon cam out in the desert, he's got around, but he's not far enough in front where he can cut down in front of him yet until he's clear, until now as he comes around pylon number 6 and makes his way to home stretch. It looks like he's going to complete this pass here.
Josh Watson, Wilton, California, and Frayed Knot, legendary F1 racing plane here, has taken the lead here in our gold class race on day number 2.
But boy, what a competitive race as we see our leader now in Josh Watson in Frayed Knot, the historic 3-time national champion that aircraft is, and Josh Watson flying it this year, holding up that legend and making it perform just like that aircraft has over the years. Such a great shot. Now here's some farther back in the field. I believe that Feisty in the bright yellow airplane.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see our leader beginning to pass them. You see he's having to pass them. Lap traffic on the outside as well. So they're making their way around. That's Austin Shaw behind Feisty there in the yellow, but our leader in Frayed Knot race 31 having no problem getting around the slower aircraft.
In a perfect position right now. And a champion plane here, of course, Frayed Knot. Last time was in 2019.
See the aircraft wiggle a little bit there. I guess a little bit of turbulence. It's probably, the sun's starting to heat the earth just a little bit, getting a little bit of convective heat rising off the desert floor, and you see that as our aircraft bobble. You can see the passing going on here as different aircraft are passing some of those slower. That's Trent Woodworth in Feisty, the bright yellow airplane there on the bottom. He talked about the faster airplanes in our pre-race interview, and that's exactly what you're seeing play out here. And we'll jump back to our leader here. Race 31, Josh Watson, as he comes towards the home pylon here, makes his way to pylon number 1, starting his turnaround there on the east side of our course. Such a great view for our folks at home. You get to see that beautiful DG2 racer.
Put the cart before the horse, but it starting to look like a showdown between that plane right there, race number 31, and of course a champion of 3 of the last 4 years, Justin Meadows, down to it in the finals. But we got a long way to go.
We got a long ways to go. That's Sunday, and we are still in the heat of it here on Thursday today. As you see now with Josh Watson, he's flying that really low line and staying low, taking the most effective and efficient way around the course. And this would be the white flag right there as he passed the home pylon. Tommy, we are in our final lap.
Lap number 8.
Great look at our leader as he completes pylon number 3. You see him begin to roll out, slight roll to the right as he rolls out wings level for the backstretch, makes his way down along the desert floor, and he's only got 3 more pylons to turn. The west end of our course, right there, he begins the turn. Pylons 4, then there's 5, and then 6, and then he'll be headed back home to the home pylon for what we expect to be the checkered flag and the unofficial victory here for Josh Watson.
Qualified with 233 and change
checkered flag,
per hour. We'll see what his qualifying time is here, but he has got the win unofficially, that is for sure.
And you see the checkered flag there. Coming by in place number 2, that was our pole sitter, Justin Phillipson, race 79, and behind him the red, white, and blue, race 99 of Tim Cohn, finishing unofficially in 3rd as he makes his way around. Now here we get a great shot of some of the rest of our finishers.
That's Matt Moore, race 14, white plane there.
And then there, the blue and white one there. It's finishing right. Look at that, right by one pass there at the last.
Yeah.
last few turns as they make their way home. And then there's Feisty, who we heard from Trent Woodworth before the race in the yellow Cassett 3, race 52. And we've got all 8 aircraft across the finish line, Tommy. 8 laps in the books in this gold pairing Heat 2A. Let's go back and look and see how this started out, Tommy.
Well, the top of the classification, the gold race takes off. And, of course, as you mentioned, Justin Phillipson with the pole position to start in lap number 1. And he would hold that down for a couple, 3 laps.
He would. And Josh Watson in Frayed Knot, the white race 31, was on his trail, though. We got to see it here. You begin to see where he is expertly using some strategy, trading speed for altitude and then trading that altitude for speed. And lap after lap, he eventually made his way to the front.
Frayed Knot, the famous F1 racer here, the champion in 2019. And you can see where he's putting the game plan together right there around lap number 3.
Yeah, and there's the pass for the lead right there. And from that point, he never looked back. You know, the aircraft is a 3-time national champion, and here you see them completing the first pass towards the home pylon. He never looked back from there, and that's kind of where we finished it up with him as the unofficial winner, Tommy.
Oh, just a perfect performance for one of the favorites coming in. Frayed Knot, race number 31, Josh Wilton, California.
Well, Tommy, this is some kind of excitement.
Absolutely. So much more yet to come. We've really basically just seen a lot of F1, Formula One today, but we've got all the other classifications on tap for today. Full day of racing here. Weather's perfect. Day number 2 is perfect here in Reno. We'll be back momentarily.